Remove your towel. Face forward. Don't move. 12 words. 12 women. One room with no windows and a door that doesn't lock from inside. Keiko's hands won't stop shaking. The towel is thin, white, still damp from the shower they forced her into 20 minutes ago. She's 21 years old, Imperial Army nurse from Okinawa, and she knows exactly what comes next. They all know. Hadaka ni sarete, uragirareru, soregateki no yarikata da. Stripped and betrayed. That's what enemies do. The propaganda briefings were specific. American soldiers don't take prisoners. They take trophies. Women are entertainment. The officers go first, then the enlisted men. Then, whatever's left gets photographed and sent home as souvenirs. 847 Japanese women captured across the entire Pacific theater. That's it. 847 out of millions. These 12 are in one room tonight. Steam rises from their skin. The tile floor is freezing under bare feet. Soap smell mixes with something sharper, fear maybe, or the bleach they used to scrub the walls. But something's wrong. The person giving orders isn't a man. Captain Ruth Blackwood, 34, U.S. Army Medical Corps, stands near the door holding a clipboard. Brown hair pinned back, no weapon visible, no soldiers behind her, just a woman in olive drab with a pen. Keiko's brain stutters. Beside her, Fumiko, 19, signals operator, first week as a POW, starts hyperventilating. Her towel slips. She catches it. Ruth doesn't look, doesn't react. Just makes a note on the clipboard. Why isn't she looking? Harumi is the oldest, 31, former schoolteacher who somehow ended up at a field hospital in the Philippines. She's been through interrogations before, beatings, things she doesn't talk about. The scar running from her shoulder to her hip tells enough. But this is different. The American woman hasn't moved toward them, hasn't touched anyone, hasn't even raised her voice. Face forward. Ruth's tone is clinical, like a doctor, or a butcher examining livestock. Keiko faces forward. Her heart hammers against her ribs. The towel is the only thing between her and whatever comes next. She'll die before she lets it go. She's already decided that. The door opens behind Ruth. Another American walks in. This one is younger. Filipino features, medical armband, female. She's carrying something. Not a weapon, not restraints. A stethoscope. Ruth steps aside. The new woman approaches. Keiko stops breathing. And then the woman does something impossible. She bows. The bow isn't deep. 30 degrees maybe, but it's correct, proper form. The kind you learn in Nagasaki households where grandmothers still remember the old ways. Keiko's brain short-circuits. Private Alma Reyes, 22, Filipino-American field medic, straightens and speaks. The words that come out aren't English. Watashi wa kensa o okonaimasu. Isha desu. Kizutsu kenai. I will conduct an examination. I am a doctor. I won't hurt you. Japanese. Perfect Japanese. Kansai dialect. Southern, soft, the accent of fishing villages and merchant families. Fumiko makes a sound like a wounded animal. Harumi's eyes narrow to slits. Keiko just stares. The propaganda didn't mention this. Naze kanojo wa nihongo o hanasu no? Why does she speak Japanese? Alma approaches Keiko first, slowly, hands visible. The stethoscope dangles from her neck like a strange metal pendant. She gestures toward Keiko's chest, above the towel line, and mimes listening. Heart, Alma says in Japanese. Lungs, only this. Japanese military medical examinations were different. Keiko remembers them. The male doctors who didn't look away. The forms that required measurements nobody needed. The hands that lingered where they shouldn't. She braces herself. Alma places the stethoscope against Keiko's upper chest. The metal is cold, shockingly cold, and Keiko flinches. But that's all. 2 spots on the chest, 2 on the back. Alma listens, nods, makes a note. 94%. That's what the propaganda claimed. 94% of captured women were violated by American forces. The number was printed in every training manual, repeated in every briefing, burned into every woman's mind like a brand. Actual documented cases of assault in U.S. custody, 0. But Keiko doesn't know that, can't know that. All she knows is that this woman with the Japanese accent hasn't hurt her, hasn't even looked below her collarbone. The stethoscope clicks against Alma's chest as she moves to Fumiko. Deep breath. Fumiko is crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. She's convinced this is the calm before the storm, the kindness before the knife. Kore wa wanada, kanarazu wanada. This is a trap. It must be a trap. Alma finishes the examination, moves to Harumi. The older woman stands rigid, jaw clenched, waiting for the facade to crack. It doesn't. Ruth speaks from the doorway. TB screening next. Male physician, arms only, no undressing required. Alma translates. Male physician. Every woman in the room stops breathing. The door opens, and a man walks in. Captain Thomas Brennan is 43 years old. Gray at the temples, wedding ring visible. He's carrying a small metal tray with 12 syringes lined up like soldiers. Keiko's vision tunnels. Korega hajimarida, korega karera no yarikata da. This is the beginning. This is how they do it. The injection first, sedation, then whatever comes after. The training manuals were explicit. Americans use medical procedures as cover. The needle puts you to sleep. You wake up ruined, or you don't wake up at all. But Thomas doesn't approach the women directly. He sets the tray on a table near the wall, steps back, looks at Alma, nods once. Then he does something that makes Harumi's breath catch. He rolls up his own sleeve. Tuberculosis test, Alma translates. Same injection everyone receives. Watch, he demonstrates first. Thomas swabs his forearm with alcohol. The smell cuts through the steam, sharp, clinical, familiar. He picks up a syringe, inserts the needle into his own skin at a shallow angle, and depresses the plunger. A small bubble forms under the skin. 48 hours, Alma explains. If the bubble stays flat, no tuberculosis. If it swells, treatment begins. That's all. Tuberculosis killed 38% of Japanese POWs in captured camps where treatment wasn't available. In U.S. facilities with proper screening, 2% mortality. Thomas doesn't know Keiko is watching his hands. Steady hands. No tremor. No hesitation. He sets down the used syringe and picks up a fresh one. Who's first? The question hangs in the steam. Nobody moves. Harumi steps forward. The other women stare. Harumi, the one with the scar, the one who trusts nothing and nobody, the one who's been beaten by her own officers, walks toward the American man with the needle. Nani o shite iru no? What are you doing? Harumi doesn't answer. She extends her arm. Thomas swabs the injection site. Alma stands close, translating every movement. Small pinch, 3 seconds. The needle goes in. Harumi doesn't flinch. The bubble forms. Thomas withdraws, applies a small bandage, and steps back immediately. That's it. No lingering, no touching beyond the procedure, no eyes wandering where they shouldn't. Harumi returns to the group. Her expression hasn't changed, but something in her posture has shifted. Looser, like a wire that's been cut. Fumiko is hyperventilating again. I'll go next, Keiko says. She doesn't know why. Maybe because Harumi survived. Maybe because the alternative is standing here until her heart explodes. She walks forward. Thomas is already preparing a fresh syringe, but his hands are shaking now. The needle hovers above Keiko's forearm. Thomas's hand trembles. Not much, but enough. She sees it. He sees her seeing it. Sorry, he mutters in English. Then, through Alma, memories, not you. Keiko doesn't understand, doesn't want to understand. She just wants this over. The injection takes 4 seconds. Small pinch. Bubble forms. Thomas steps back so fast he nearly trips over the medical tray. His face has gone pale beneath the Pacific tan. Ruth notices. Captain, break. Thomas shakes his head. 11 more. I can finish. That wasn't a suggestion. He leaves. The door closes behind him. 12 women stand in silence, steam curling around their bare shoulders, trying to process what they just witnessed. An American soldier, an officer, having a breakdown, overgiving injections to enemy prisoners. Kare wa nazi furuete itano? Why was he shaking? Alma's voice is quiet when she answers. His daughter died of tuberculosis. Last year, she was 17. He couldn't save her. The room goes completely still. Fumiko's crying shifts into something else. Confusion, maybe, or the first crack in a wall she's been building since capture. Harumi stares at the closed door like she's trying to see through it. Keiko's arm throbs where the needle went in. Tiny pain. Nothing compared to what she expected. Nothing compared to what the propaganda promised. Kare wa watashi tachi o kizutsukeru hazu datta. Naze kizutsukete inai no? He was supposed to hurt us. Why isn't he hurting us? Ruth takes over the remaining injections. Her hands are steady, rock steady, and she works fast. Swab, inject, bandage next. No conversation, no explanation, just efficiency wrapped in silence. 11 injections in 9 minutes. When she's done, Ruth sets down the tray and looks at the group. Really looks. Not through them, not past them, but at them. 12 women clutching damp towels in a steam-filled room, waiting for the violence that keeps not coming. Clothes are next, Ruth says. Clean uniforms. Your sizes were estimated. Alterations available if needed, Alma translates. Kire na fuku, nazi. Clean clothes, why? Ruth doesn't answer the question. She just opens a door Keiko hadn't noticed. A side door leading to another room. Inside, folded uniforms, underwear still in packaging, socks, shoes lined up by size. Not prison rags, real clothes. Harumi moves first, again. She crosses the threshold like she's walking into a trap she's already accepted. The first thing she touches is a cotton undershirt. Her hands start shaking, and she doesn't stop them. Cotton, clean cotton. Keiko hasn't felt anything this soft in 11 months. The undershirt is white, standard issue. Nothing special except it doesn't smell like blood or mud or the particular rot of field hospitals where supplies ran out 3 offensives ago. It smells like soap. Industrial soap, harsh and chemical, but soap. She holds it against her chest, and something inside her cracks. Kore wa genjitsu janai. Genjitsu no hazu ga nai. This isn't real. This can't be real. Japanese military women received 2 uniforms per year. 2. If they wore out, you patched them. If they couldn't be patched, you wore them anyway. Keiko's uniform at capture had been held together with wire and dried blood. Here, 12 complete sets. Underwear in sealed packages. Sealed, like they'd never been opened, like they were actually new. Socks without holes. Shoes that looked like they might fit. Fumiko picks up a pair of underwear and starts sobbing. Not fear sobbing. Something else. Something broken open. These are... She can't finish the sentence. Ruth speaks from the doorway. You'll receive replacements every 2 weeks. Laundry service available. If anything doesn't fit, inform medical staff. Alma translates. Her voice catches on laundry service. Harumi is already dressed. She moves like a soldier, efficient, precise, no wasted motion. But her hands keep smoothing the fabric of the shirt, over and over, like she's making sure it's real. Wai watashi tachi jishin no shoko ni korosareta onaga imasu? There were women killed by our own officers. Keiko freezes mid-button. Harumi's voice is flat, factual. For losing uniforms, for appearing undignified. Lieutenant Matsuda shot Private Endo because her shirt was torn during shelling. Said she brought shame to the unit. The room goes silent. Ruth's expression doesn't change, but something tightens around her eyes. Alma stops translating, not because she doesn't understand, but because she does. 23% of captured Japanese military women had documented injuries from their own forces. Discipline beatings, punishment details, summary executions for infractions that wouldn't warrant a reprimand in American units. Fumiko's sobbing has stopped. She's staring at Harumi with an expression that's equal parts horror and recognition. "I saw it," Fumiko whispers. "I saw them shoot Corporal Tanaka. She asked for water. Mizu wo kudasai to itadake, just for asking for water." Keiko buttons her shirt. Clean fabric against skin that's been dirty for so long she forgot what clean felt like. The door opens. The smell hits them first. Food, real food, white rice, steaming. The smell alone makes Keiko's knees buckle. She hasn't seen white rice since before Okinawa. Field rations were brown rice, when there was rice at all. Mostly it was hardtack, dried fish that had gone rancid, and water that tasted like rust. The tray in front of her, white rice, pickled vegetables, grilled fish, miso soup. A meal. An actual meal. The kind her mother used to make. "Kore wa doku da, kanarazu doku da." This is poison. It must be poison. But the person who set down the tray isn't American. Sergeant David Nakamura, 29, Japanese-American cook from Honolulu, stands at the head of the table wearing a U.S. Army uniform and a white apron. His Japanese is flawless, Hawaiian-inflected, but grammatically perfect. My grandmother would be ashamed if I served bad rice. "Eat, please." Fumiko won't touch it. She sits with her hands in her lap, staring at the food like it might explode. Harumi picks up her chopsticks, real chopsticks, not the broken wooden sticks they'd been using for months, and takes a single grain of rice. She chews slowly, swallows, waits. Nothing happens. U.S. POW camps employed 2,400 Japanese Americans in support roles, cooks, translators, medical assistants. The reasoning was practical: reduce cultural friction, improve compliance, minimize incidents. The result was something nobody predicted. Keiko takes her first bite. The rice is perfect. Slightly sticky, properly seasoned, the texture she remembers from childhood. Her eyes burn. She blinks fast, refuses to cry, takes another bite. Average weight gain for Japanese POWs in U.S. custody: 8 pounds in the first month. They were eating more as prisoners than they ever did as soldiers. Naz kare wa koko ni iru no, kare wa Nihonjin da. Why is he here? He's Japanese. Nakamura sits down across from them, not eating, just sitting, making himself small and non-threatening. There's a scar on his left hand, running from thumb to wrist. Old wound, badly healed. "I know what they told you about Americans," he says. "I know because they told us the same things about you." Harumi's chopsticks pause. "My family was interned, Manzanar. My mother died there, pneumonia, no medicine, guards who didn't care. I enlisted anyway." "Nays? Why?" Nakamura's smile doesn't reach his eyes. "Because my mother's last words were, 'Prove them wrong, all of them.'" Fumiko picks up her chopsticks. Her hands are shaking, but she picks them up. She takes a bite. And the wall cracks a little more. The scar on Nakamura's hand catches the light when he reaches for the teapot. Fumiko sees it, can't stop seeing it. "Sono kizu wa doko de?" "That scar, where did you get it?" Nakamura pours tea, green tea. The smell is almost unbearable. It smells like home, like temple visits, like everything they've lost. "Saipan," he says. "A grenade." The table goes quiet. Saipan. Every woman here knows that name. Saipan is where the Japanese military ordered mass suicides, soldiers and civilians alike. Jump from the cliffs or use your grenade. Death before capture. Honor before survival. Fumiko's throat tightens. "Anata wa tobi oroshita no?" "Did you jump?" "I caught one." Nakamura's voice is flat. "A woman threw it at me. She thought I was coming to hurt her. I caught it and threw it back into the water. The delay fuse burned my hand before it cleared." He holds up the scar. Pink tissue, badly healed. The fingers slightly curled from tendon damage. She was Japanese, civilian. She'd been told Americans would torture her, rape her, cut her into pieces. The grenade was supposed to save her from that. 4,000 suicides across the Pacific Theater. Japanese military issued grenades to 78% of female personnel. Standard equipment, standard expectation. Fumiko's hands are shaking. She's been carrying something since capture, a weight she hasn't spoken about, a decision she made on the beach when the Americans came, and everything the propaganda promised was about to come true. Watashi mo juryudan o morata. I was also given a grenade. Every eye turns to her. I was supposed to use it when they came. Her voice breaks. I held it for 3 hours, pinned between my fingers, waiting. Naza tsukai nakata no. Why didn't you use it? Because Fumiko's breath hitches. Because a soldier walked past me and he was eating chocolate, American chocolate, and he looked happy. And I thought, monsters don't eat chocolate. Monsters don't look happy. She's crying now. Real crying, not the silent tears from before. I threw it in the ocean, and then I surrendered, and every day since I've been waiting for them to prove me wrong. Keiko reaches across the table, takes Fumiko's hand, doesn't say anything, just holds it. Nakamura watches them. His scarred hand rests on the table. She didn't prove you wrong, he says quietly, and neither did you. The door opens. Ruth steps in. There's something else, something we need to show you. The room Ruth leads them to is small, 4 walls, 1 table, a single lamp. On the table, a folder, manila, unmarked. Kore wa nani? What is this? Ruth doesn't answer immediately. She opens the folder. Inside, photographs, documents, Japanese characters mixed with English annotations. We captured this from a command post in Manila, your command post. She spreads the papers on the table. Keiko recognizes the letterhead. Imperial Army Medical Division, the same office that processed her deployment orders. Read it. Harumi steps forward. She's the only one whose hands aren't shaking. She picks up the first document, scans it, and her face drains of color. Kore wa... This is... A directive, Ruth says, dated 3 months before Saipan. Harumi translates aloud. All female personnel captured or at risk of capture are to be eliminated prior to enemy contact. Methods: self-administered grenades, commanding officer's sidearm, or... Her voice catches. Group incineration in fixed positions. The room tilts. Fumiko makes a sound, not a word, not a scream, something between. Keiko's brain refuses to process. Eliminated. Their own army. Fixed positions means bunkers. Group incineration means karera wa watashitachi omoyasu tsumori data. They were going to burn us. 34 nurses were executed in Saipan, Ruth says, by their own officers, before any American soldier reached them. We found the bodies. We documented everything. Photographs, black and white, bodies in uniform, Japanese uniform, no wounds from American weapons, entry wounds from Japanese pistols, burns consistent with... Keiko vomits. She doesn't mean to. Her body simply rejects what her eyes are seeing. Harumi catches her before she falls, holds her upright, and doesn't let go. Watashitachi wa korosareru hazudata. We were supposed to die, not from Americans, from their own side. The propaganda wasn't protection, it was cover. Make them fear capture so much they'd accept execution. Make death seem preferable to survival. Ruth closes the folder. We're not showing you this to be cruel. We're showing you because you deserve to know what you escaped, Alma translates. Her voice is steady, but her eyes are wet. Fumiko is still making that sound, that broken, keening sound that comes from somewhere deeper than grief. Keiko's throat burns with bile. Harumi's grip on her arm is the only thing keeping her vertical. Subete uso data. Everything was a lie. Ruth nods slowly. Yes, everything. The door opens. Thomas Brennan steps in. The barracks are ready. Beds, private quarters, whenever you're ready. Private quarters. After everything, private quarters. The mattress is thin, standard military issue. But Keiko stands in front of it like it's a foreign object she's never encountered before. Kore wa watashi no? This is mine? The barracks are divided into small rooms, 2 beds each. Clean sheets, actual pillows, flat, lumpy, but real pillows. A small window with a view of nothing, just darkness, but glass that isn't broken. Fumiko is her roommate. Neither of them has spoken since the document room. What do you say after that? After learning your own army planned to burn you alive? Propaganda wa mamoru tamedata, sore wa watashi tachi ga shiranakata kara. The propaganda was to protect us, because we didn't know. No. Keiko's voice sounds strange to her own ears. The propaganda was to make us compliant, so we'd accept our own deaths. Fumiko sits on her bed. The springs creak. She stares at her hands, the same hands that held a grenade for 3 hours, waiting for courage that never came. The chocolate soldier. I keep thinking about him. Chocoredo? He was 20 maybe younger. And he saw me, a Japanese woman holding something behind my back, and he just waved, like I was a person, like I wasn't the enemy. Japanese military doctrine. Surrender is dishonor. Americans are savages. Death is preferable. American military doctrine, apparently. Wave at scared women and eat chocolate. Keiko sits on her own bed. The sheets are clean. The pillow smells like nothing. No blood, no smoke, no decay. Just fabric. Watashi tachi wa ima dosuru no? What do we do now? She doesn't know who she's asking. Fumiko doesn't answer. Outside, somewhere in the camp, voices. American voices. Laughter. Someone's playing music. Radio, maybe? Thin and tinny through the walls. A song Keiko doesn't recognize. She lies down. The ceiling is wooden, unpainted. She counts the boards because it's easier than thinking. 14 boards, 28 nails that she can see, 1 water stain shaped like a comma. Tomorrow there will be more examinations, more questions, more opportunities to discover this has all been an elaborate trap, that the violence is coming, that the propaganda was right. But tonight, a bed, clean clothes, a full stomach, a roommate who's alive because she chose chocolate over grenades. Oyasumi. Good night. Fumiko's voice comes back, small and cracked. Good night. Neither of them sleeps, but they both survive until morning. And in the morning brings something none of them expected. A visitor from Tokyo. The visitor isn't military. She's Red Cross. Japanese Red Cross. A liaison permitted into American facilities under international observation protocols. Her name is Dr. Sato, 53 years old. She's been documenting POW conditions across the Pacific for 7 months. She walks through the barracks slowly, takes notes, asks questions in Japanese that the women answer in fragments. Taigu wa? How have you been treated? Nobody speaks. Dr. Sato stops in front of Keiko, studies her face, notes the clean uniform, the clear eyes, the absence of bruises or burns or the particular hollowness that comes from assault. Tell me the truth. No one here can hurt you for speaking. Keiko thinks about the shower room, the command, the towels. Tauru o hazushite, mai o muite. Remove your towel, face forward. 12 words that should have begun a nightmare. 12 words that instead began, what? Something she still doesn't have language for. They gave us medical examinations, clean clothes, food, beds. Dr. Sato's pen pauses. And before that, during capture, a soldier waved at me. He was eating chocolate. The liaison blinks, writes nothing, just stares. Fumiko speaks up. I held a grenade for 3 hours. I was going to use it because of what they told us. Der ga? Who told you? Our officers, our training, everyone. Dr. Sato closes her notebook. 0 Japanese women POWs died in American custody. 0 documented assaults. 0 forced suicides. The statistics won't be compiled for years, but the women standing in this barracks are the evidence. Keiko reaches under her pillow, pulls out the towel, the white towel from the shower room, thin and worn, still carrying the faint smell of industrial soap. I kept it. Nays. Why? Because it was the first time I was treated like a person, not an enemy, not a number, not something to be burned or shot or disposed of. Her voice cracks. A person! Dr. Sato looks at the towel. At Keiko. At the 11 other women who survived capture, survived propaganda, survived their own army's execution orders. May I document this? Keiko nods. The photograph is taken, black and white. A Japanese woman holding a white towel in an American POW camp. No bruises, no chains, no terror in her eyes, just survival. Keiko kept that towel for 47 years. When she died in 1992, her daughter donated it to a museum in Tokyo. The placard reads, "The moment I learned my enemy was human. Remove your towel, face forward, 12 words, 12 women, one truth."